Today we're going to have a look at adding a service requirement to an existing client visit. There are a couple of instances in which you may need to add a service requirement. It may be that we have a client that can only see Bolton Clark staff, they refuse to see agency staff, or it may be that they require someone who has had training in a certain area. So it might be for a syringe driver and we need someone who's competent in using one of those syringe drivers to visit them. So there's a few different reasons that we might need to add a service requirement to a visit. Now, on an existing client visit, if you can see on my screen here, I have got Johnny Barker's client schedule open. And he has a few visits that have already been created. Now, on a visit-by-visit level, I could double-click into the visit itself, and there is a Service Requirements tab. What I can see in Johnny's existing service requirements is that he requires a female to come out to see him. There's an Add Delete button here, and this allows me to add or remove different service requirements. So having a look at this list here, I've got a list that I can scroll through, and there's quite a few different options here that may be relevant to the client. Some things are quite important. For example, if we required a security escort, I would like to be using that. Or syringe driver competency, there's no point sending a staff member out who can't actually deliver that service requirement. We've got different requirements in here for catheter competencies, and I'm just going to scroll up and find my female required again. So what I can see here are the service requirements associated with the visit and all of the service requirements that are available. If I close out of here, the update that I have made has been made to this visit. If I say OK, it's asking me, do I want to save the changes? Yes, I do. The next question it's asking me is, do I want to make this relevant for just this visit or all of the visits following this particular one? So I can do a bulk update here if I want to. In this instance, I might just change this visit only. I'll say OK. It's telling me that I'm about to modify the last visit of one or more regular scheduled patterns. I'm just going to say OK to that. And it's taking me through my conflict checking screen. Now, it's defaulting to a client task planner, which I don't want to happen. I'm just going to send Johnny through to the correct planner. And what is he in? 620B. The training environment is not perfect, but we'll say that he's in that lat. I'm going to make sure this goes through to the right planner and say OK. And again, the only change I've made to that visit is those service requirements. Now, there is another way to make this update. So if in fact I needed to assign or add a service requirement of the syringe driver to every future visit for Johnny, I could go up to here where it says Service Plan. So I've got one visit selected. I'm going up to my main toolbar to Service Plan. And in here, I can go into the Service Requirements folder. Now in this area, this is at the client's episode level. So I can see this is for his CHSP level 1 funding. And there is a service requirements folder in here. And again, we've got our female required option. There's the Add Delete button. And in here, I could put in that syringe driver. Now, if I made the choice to put the syringe driver competency across here as a service requirement, I'll just close that. I now have that added to the episode. So anything, any visit that's associated with this particular episode will automatically have this competency attached to it. We do have the ability, can you see this field here where it says notify, it says no, and then it's got a required field. It says yes at the moment, and I can change that notify, or required I should say, to not required. So I can have the service requirements associated with the entire episode, and it will pop up every visit that comes under it, but it will say, look, there is a syringe driver competency service requirement associated with this episode, but we may or may not require the person to have that training. So just be aware of this field here. If it is a given and we have to have a female or someone with syringe driver training attend every single client visit, then you would always leave that required as being yes. So I just right-clicked in that field there, and I can edit and I can change that to being permanently required. If I save and close, that has updated everything under that particular funder. So again, updating or adding a service requirement to an existing visit is as simple as going in and updating the service requirement information via the visit tab, or we can do it through the service plan episode folder